Hey guys, welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. So it is a very nice and cool day today. So all of the candles are now back on, which I am so happy about. I just really miss them. They just add that vibe. So last week, Darcy Coates' publisher reached out to me via email, which I couldn't believe. She said, I saw your reviews and I saw that you liked Voices in the Snow. Would you be interested in reading the rest of the series? And I was like, yes, of course I would. I loved Voices in the Snow. I loved her other books that I've read too, like The Haunting of Ashburn House and Craven Manor, but Voices in the Snow just has this more, it's a little bit more complex, it's a little bit more mature, and it doesn't have exactly that creepy cozy thing, but that's okay because it's kind of more like creepy and chilling, which is good too. So I really want to do a review and maybe some mild analysis of the series for October. I think that would be really cool. I hope I can do that. That would be so fun. But there's also going to be a new Black Winter novel coming out this year. So I'm hoping that will end up coming my way at some point because I would be really intrigued to read that. I did ask the publisher if there was, anything in the works for the future and, if there's going to be more books coming out, and she did confirm that there's going to be 5 more books. I don't know if that's specifically for Black Winter or if those are just kind of one-offs or a different series, but I was like, that is amazing. I have been meaning to get her books, but unfortunately right now I buy almost all of my books used because I'm unemployed and new books are. So I've been trying not to buy them new if I can buy them used, and then just waiting to see if they pop up on my used resource website. So I haven't bought anything new recently. I think the last thing I got was Caro Haunt and Blackburn Manor. If you saw my Caro Haunt review, you know that I did not love it. That was a disappointing book for me. I thought the concept was really cool, but it had a Scooby-Doo-esque quality to it that I just didn't really dig. And I don't know if it was just my perception of it, but the other books I've read, I adore. So if you're a big Darcy Coates fan, or you kind of just like these haunted house tropes, or you kind of like these very familiar stories of mansions that have secrets and people who have to figure out how to survive these places, but also, what is the secret of this place? Then you might like these books because this is kind of like the seed or the core of all of Darcy Coates' books. Some of them are creepy cozy and some of them are more creepy and chilling. They're not extremely scary and horrifying, but they do have really wonderful moments that are chilling or creepy or endearing, and they usually feature main characters who are struggling. They don't have much in the world. They come from a poor background. They're transitioning from one place to another. They've had a death that's left them sort of alone and there's no more family. So all of these people are in a state of some type of transition or turmoil. And so these characters are definitely relatable, human, flawed, so they are very cool to kind of just hang out with and fall in love with sometimes. So that's kind of like the Darcy Coates realm, I guess. I thought they were going to send me just 2 books, the Black Winter novel books that I haven't read, but actually they sent me 7 books. So I was very kind and very generous. So thank you so much to Poison Pen for sending me these books, and let's get into it. So the first book is called Dead Lake. She thought she was alone. Sam is excited to spend a week at her uncle's remote lakeside cabin. It's a chance for her to focus on her art without distractions. No neighbors, no phone, and only a small radio to keep her company. It's perfect. But there's something deeply unnatural lingering by the lake. It isn't long before Sam realizes she's not alone out here. A tall, strange man stands on the edge of her dock, staring intently into the swirling waters below. At first, she tries to brush off her unease, but unnerving reports begin to surface of hikers missing from the nearby trail. Then he starts to follow her. He disables her car. He destroys her only way to communicate with the outside world. Stranded, alone, afraid, Sam may have become the prey in a hunter's deadliest game. It also says includes 4 bonus stories that will leave you haunted. That's interesting. So the actual story itself is only 115 pages, and the rest of it, this section here, are 4 short stories. I wonder why they just didn't call it a short story collection or something. Haunting of Rookward House. I love these covers. The Haunting of Ashburn cover is like this. The Craven Manor is like this. I just love these desolate, abandoned looking homes. You know, they're very color graded heavily to have that creepy feeling. I love these the most. When there's an individual or a human in them, I'm just like, eh. Maybe it kind of just distracts me from the isolation and I just prefer it to be empty. But I love these cover designs so much. When Guy finds the deed to a house in his mother's attic, it seems like an incredible stroke of luck. Sure, it hasn't been inhabited in years, and vines strangle the age-stained walls, but Guy's convinced he can clean up the building and sell it. He'd be crazy to turn down free money, right? Rookward House may be hours away from its nearest neighbor, but he can't escape the feeling that he's being watched. Still, he decides to camp in the crumbling old mansion while he does repairs. Surely nothing too bad can happen in the space of a week. But there's a reason no one lives in Rookward House, and the dilapidated rooms aren't as empty as they seem. 40 years ago, a deranged woman tormented the family that made Rookwood its home. Now her ghost clings to the building like rot. She's bitter, obsessive, and fiercely jealous, and once Guy has moved into her house, she has no intention of letting him go. Ooh, okay, this one sounds a little bit more spicier than normal, so I am really into this. I do love the deranged, tortured woman ghost trope. I mean, it's just so good because it's just so scary. So this sounds really juicy. This one definitely seems a little bit more up my alley than this one for now. Let's keep going. The house next door. No one stays for long. She began to suspect something was wrong with the crumbling Gothic monstrosity when its family fled in the middle of the night. The children screaming, the mother crying. They never came back. No family stays at Marwick House for long. No life lingers beyond its blackened windows. No voices drift from its ancient halls. Once Josephine swore she saw a woman's silhouette pacing through the upstairs room, but that's impossible. No one has been there in a long, long time. But now someone new has moved next door, and Marwick House is slowly waking up. Torn between staying away and warning the new tenant, Josephine only knows that if she isn't careful, she may be its next victim. So obviously there's a lot of familiar tropes in these stories, but they are just my favorite. I love a house with secrets and a history, and I love the concept of houses waking up and becoming alive and kind of exerting its own will. There's something really, I don't know, just mesmerizing about that. Like, I love it. The Haunting of Gillipsy House. Some spirits linger. This is another one. Great cover. Just want to live there. Let's see what it's about. Ellie is thrilled to spend a month minding the beautiful Gillipsy property. Over an hour's drive from the nearest town, the aging mansion is ideal for someone seeking solitude. But as she explores her new home, Elle makes a startling discovery. There's a graveyard nestled deep in the woods, containing a generation of the house's residents, all who died the same year. Then things start to go very wrong very quickly. There are skittering noises inside the walls, slamming doors, whispers in the night, a locked room, and a horrifying mystery that wants to be solved. As she investigates further, Elle begins to unravel the property's dark and dangerous history. At its center is Jonathan Gillespie, a tyrannical cult leader, and the house's original owner. And as Elle soon learns, just because he's dead doesn't mean he's gone. This one also includes 3 bonus short stories. The Folcroft Ghosts. Every family has its secrets. So there are human beings in this artwork, but it is a good one. It is a good one. I can let it go for this one. When their mother is hospitalized, Tara and Kyle are sent to stay with their only remaining relatives. Their elderly grandparents seem friendly at first, and the rambling house is full of fun nooks and crannies to explore. But strange things keep happening. A bedroom remains locked at all times, doors slam and curtains shift when no one is inside, and there are whispers of a sister who drowned in the lake long ago. Something is being hidden away, kept safely out of sight, and the children can't shake the feeling that it's watching them. When a violent storm cuts off their only contact with the outside world, Tara and Kyle must find a way to protect themselves from their increasingly erratic grandparents and from the ghosts that haunt the Folcroft's house. But can they ever hope to escape the unforgivable secret that has ensnared their family for generations? Yeah, it's ticking all the boxes. I do like this, secret in the family tree type thing. Really love those. So this sounds really fun. This one also has 3 bonus stories. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the Black Winter series. So Voices in the Snow is the first book. The second book is Secrets in the Dark. You Can't Outrun the Stillness. Winterbourne Hall is not safe, even as Claire and Doran, I love these 2 characters, scramble to secure the ancient building against ravenous Hollow Ones. They face something far worse. Claire's sister has made contact, but she's trapped, and her oxygen is running out. Hundreds of miles separate Claire from Beth. The land between them is infested with monsters, and the roads are a maze of dead ends. Claire has to choose between making a journey she knows she might not survive, or staying safe in Winterbourne, and listening as her sister slowly suffocates. At least, whatever her choice, she'll have Doran by her side. And yet there are eyes in the dark. There are whispers in the mist. There is danger lurking in the snow, and one false step could end it all. So when I was first gonna read Voices in the Snow, somebody told me, I think on Instagram, they're like, ooh, it's not really supernatural. It's kind of, it's not really. And I was a little bummed out about it, but the story is so good that it didn't really matter. And these hollow ones that they're talking about in this, they're really mysterious and interesting creatures that we didn't really get to learn a lot about in Voices in the Snow. So typically, I'm not a creature feature person. I'm not a monster person. I'm not a werewolf person. I like vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. I like them in film. It's just usually in books, I don't know. It doesn't do much for me, I guess I should say. But I really did like Voices in the Snow because I did really find it intriguing here. So I'm glad that Claire and Doran, or our characters back in here, I am kind of excited to see how they get to Beth, if they do get to Beth, because it was really sad that Claire and Beth got separated and it just seemed really hopeless. Whispers in the Mist. This is the third book in the series. You Won't Survive the Stillness. This time it's not a doll's head, but a bloody locket. Covers like these, I feel like they just don't really give you a lot of visual stimulation and inspiration and projection, I guess, because, you know, something like this really kind of gets my imagination going. But for this, it's like, it's very specific, so it's hard to pull anything from it. And maybe that's why I don't prefer these covers as much. But let's read the back and see what it's about. Claire and Doran may still be alive against all odds, but relief is only temporary. Doran is sick and rapidly worsening. Claire fears the only way to save him lies in the mysterious Avondale Research Institute, supposedly one of the few remaining human refuges. But the research station is 3 days' journey away, and Claire isn't certain their small group can endure that long. Because the danger they're facing comes not only from the ravenous Hollow Ones, but from each other. This terrible new world has left scars, and only some of them are physical. Claire fights to protect the most precious people in her life. She begins to realize a horrible truth. Not everyone can be saved, and sometimes the worst monsters wear a human smile. It sounds interesting. You know, it sounds like it's going to be talking more about the effects of living in a environment and time such as whatever they are living in at the moment, and how this changes them, probably not just emotionally, but also mentally. So even though I guess it is a little bit of a spoiler, it's good to know that Claire and Doran have made it this far. And I am curious about this Avondale Research Institute. So I don't know if you guys remember, I don't even remember where I said it. It was on Instagram, I think. Maybe it was on here, but I was like, you know, one of my goals would be to have a Darcy Coates library, because I love her books so much, and I love the covers, and I love the stories, and they're so much fun to read that I wanted to have a little library of Darcy Coates. And that was kind of like my little goal, I guess, for the future. And so this is so cool because it's sort of answering my wish a little bit. So anyway, I know that I talk to you, a lot of you, pretty much on the regular on Instagram or here. I know that a lot of you have talked to me about some of these books already. So hopefully there was something here that you haven't looked at yet. Maybe you were thinking about getting, but you didn't really know what the synopsis was. So at least I hope this was helpful and fun and interesting for you guys. Poison Pen did also mention that, you know, a virtual meet and greet maybe would have been cool, but apparently Darcy Coates is very shy, you know, which kind of makes her more endearing, I think, to me, because, you know, it's like, I'm the same way. I feel like people usually will come to me and be like, you seem to be so comfortable on camera, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's my bedroom and it's in my house and it's a safe environment, and, you know, I'm talking about something that I love, you know, and so it's easy to do it when it's like that. Let me know if you like the Black Winter series, if you've read the other two, Whispers in the Mist and Secrets in the Dark. Well, that's it for me. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. Thank you so much for spending your free time with me. I really do appreciate it. And if you're on Instagram, you can add me. I'm Harpies in the Trees. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and watch out for each other. I'll talk to you next time.